Hello, my stamping friends. Patty Edwards here with Why Stamp with Patty. I am an independent demonstrator from Omaha, Nebraska, and today I'm going to finish my week series on the Oh My Fright Bundle. This is a Halloween set, and I know everybody's not into Halloween, but today I am going to make a little Halloween treat holder, but it can be made for any occasion. All you have to do is switch up the paper, and you can make Christmas treat holders, birthday, and they're just easy and quick and fun. Who doesn't love that? All right, so this little set has some cute little images. It has your kind of traditional happy Halloween trick or treat, which is nice, and then this sentiment that says boo to you. That's the one I'm going to use today. And I'm going to use this little ghost that stamps and can be die cut. And I'm also going to use this tag die to make our treat holder. It's a nice big tag, and I'm going to use some basic black cardstock for the holder itself, and then I'm going to use some of our paper that coordinates. This particular bundle came in a suite that debuted in July. So it has some fun Halloween paper, it has some fun accessories, the adhesive back bats, ghosts, and dots. It has this black iridescent ribbon, and of course swirls of magic, which I have been loving. And it also has some white gable boxes if you want the whole suite. But I will tell you right now, the adhesive back bats, ghosts, and dots are not available, but they are going to be back in September. So hold on, they'll be back, and they're a lot of fun. So I hope they have enough to last till Halloween. All right, let's look at what I'm going to use to create this. I am going to use a piece of our designer series paper that coordinates with this set. It's called Frightfully Fun, and it has your traditional Halloween colors, the grays and orange and black and white, and there's cute little ghosts and these cute little cats. There's a stripe. The same pattern that's in the embossing folder is in black and gray, and also in the orange. Then we have that cute little ghost that we're stamping out, that can be stamped and cut out. Kind of has different versions of that ghost on this paper. And then on the other side, we just have some, more subtle. I'm going to use this pattern today. It has some little stars, little diamonds, and the rest of them have, this is one of my favorites, these little kitty cats, because you could use those for any occasion. All right, let's get busy and make our project. So here's the measurements of the pieces of cardstock and DSP that you're going to need. So I have 2 pieces of basic black, and they measure 2 3/4 by 5 inches. And we need 2 of these because we're going to cut out 2 of the tags. So I have already done that. So I'm going to bring those in, and the tags look like this. So they're really a nice size. So we have 2 of those. And then we're going to cut another die using the DSP. And so that's going to be the same as your cardstock. We're just going to cut that out. And I have one of those cut out already. And then we have 4 pieces of the same DSP, or you could use, any of them, like the stripes would be cute. These are going to be our little candy covers. So I have these little miniature candy bars that I'm going to use inside that will create our little treat. And these measure 1.5 by 2 3/4. Now, I'm going to probably do every other. So if the back of your DSP coordinates, you can do all the same, or you could alternate. So I think I'm going to do it that way. And then we just need some scraps, something to stamp our little ghost on. So I'm going to do that in Smoky Slate. Stamp that on a piece of basic white, and that a piece that's 2 by 2 is plenty big. And then I have another little scrap of white that I want to stamp my sentiment on, and I'm just going to stamp that in black. So we're going to take our sentiment that says "Boo to You," stamp that right on our basic white. And the only other piece of cardstock that I have is another scrap of basic black, and I'm going to cut out this little die. It's a reinforcement for like the little circle, like if you're running ribbon through your tag, so you can put that, fold it over, and it creates reinforcement for that little circle. So that you only need a little scrap because it's only that big. So those are the pieces that we need. So simple. And we're going to move this out of the way. And there is a die to cut out our little ghost. So we have that cut out. Oh, if I could only pick him up with my nails here. So he's cute little ghost. Kind of looks like little Casper the Ghost. Some of you are probably not old enough to remember Casper the Ghost, but I am. And then what I did, there is not a die to cut this out, but I've showed you this before, where you take your sentiment, and after you stamp it, just go ahead and clean it, and then make sure it's dry. And I'm going to set this directly back onto the stamped sentiment, and I can take just like a mechanical pencil, because you can make it long and it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just tracing around, and this is going to give me an idea of how to cut that out, and that way I don't have to stress like, oh, do I need to go in and out, or should I get closer to this one? Kind of just gives you that shape of this sentiment and makes it a little easier. And then you just kind of follow those lines and move your paper along to make those little rounded corners. And we're just going to go around like this. And then when you get done, you can decide, you know, do I need to do any more? Like my pencil line is showing here, so I'm going to cut just a little bit more off of that. But if I liked how that was shaped, I could just erase that pencil line. But there you go. It's just an easy way to cut out a sentiment if you don't have a die and you don't want to just make it square or on a square piece of paper. All right, so we have that. Now what we need to do, we're going to do a couple little slices on our DSP, and we're going to do a couple score marks on our tag. So we'll do the score lines first. I'm going to bring in my board here, and on the bottom of the tag, we're going to put that, and let's do it this way. We're going to line this up, and we want to score this at 1 1/4. So depending upon what candy you're using is going to depend on, there we go, is going to depend on the width that you need. So like I'm using these little miniature candy bars, so that kind of determined how much space I needed for my treat holder. Now, if you were using something that was a little bit wider or skinnier, you could adjust that. But I'm going to take both of these tags and score them at 1 1/4. And then I'm going to take my tag that I cut out. Here it is. And what I want to do is to be able to have a little, because these are both cut out with the same dot. So if you put these on top of each other, you're not going to see the black paper. I want to have a little border around it. So in order to do that, I'm going to put my tag in here and just cut off like 1/8 of an inch off of that. So it's just that little tiny strip. I'm going to turn this over so that I have the flat end up at the top. And it's basically, if you have this cutter, it's just there's the line, your little trough or whatever where the blade goes through, and then there's a little black line. It's just lined up with that. So it's just like 1/8 of an inch. And then I want to cut off some off of the bottom also. That's not as particular, but I just did the same amount. All right, now we're going to take our bone folder and we'll go ahead and make good creases on these two tags that are out of the black cardstock. And I'm going to take one of these and I'm going to line my DSP. So now see how we just cut off that little bit, and now you have a border around there, which is really nice. And now I'm going to kind of fold this, put a crease mark in the DSP, and then I will adhere this. Oops, wrong glue. Take my liquid glue. We're going to add some of that to our back of our tag. I like to make the score line before I put it onto the paper, because sometimes when you add it first and then fold, it gets a little crumply, if that's a term. It's my term. I make up stuff, so that's okay. All right, so now we have that, and you'll notice our little hole here is off center, but that's okay. I'm sure everybody has a little hole punch, or you could take a piercing tool and just create a new hole. So that's easy to fix. And now we can go ahead and add these two tags. We're going to put them together. So I'm going to add adhesive to the bottom of the one that does not have the DSP. Now, if you wanted to, you could put a piece of DSP on the back side. I'm not going to. For this one, sometimes I like to decorate the back, or you could put a plain panel on it and write a little message to someone, especially like if it's for a birthday or get well, because depending upon what paper you use, you can make these for any occasion. All right, so now these two, where I did the score line, is where I connected them together to create the bottom of the treat holder. And then these are going to come together like this. And I guess I need to put those together and punch through to create that hole for the back one too. Now you can also, this is that little reinforcement, and you could put it around both of them, or you could cut this. What I did was I just put it on the front, and where'd my scissors go? Here we go. I'm just going to cut this off because, again, it's not going to line up. but you can have that little extra accent there on the front. So let's go ahead and just dab a little bit of glue on that. And we're going to take this and put it, we'll just line our little hole. There we go. So now we have that, and it'll be a little stronger when we put our ribbon through. Okay, now all we have left is to just decorate it, decorate our little candy bars. So I'm going to bring in the Designer Series paper that, I'm going to look at these because I want it, that's cute. It has a cat. I kind of just look, if I'm going to alternate them, I kind of want a pattern that's going to sit the right way. So these two look good that direction. So we're going to put our tear and tape on the back side of these. And let me bring some tear and tape in here. And we're going to, since these little candy bars are a little wider, I'm going to put 2 strips on each piece to hold that around the candy. When I'm doing the little Hershey nuggets, I usually just do 1 little strip because they're a little skinnier. They're not as wide. So just depends upon your little treat that you have. And so let's see, we got 1 more. And you can also decide how many you want to put in there. You maybe only want to put 3. So it's totally up to you. Now, gotta bring my pick tool in. Can't live without this little guy. Helps me a lot. These little papers are so much easier to get off with the pick tool. So I'm going to center my first one, and I want that little cat to show. And then I'm just going to wrap this around and close that up. We're going to do the same thing with all 3 of these. Take the backings off. And got the little ghost here, so I want him in the bat to be visible. Wrap that around. And now these 2, the last 2, I'm going to do opposite, because when I stack them in my treat holder, I'm going to alternate them. So we have the same pattern as the outside of our little treat holder on these. Wrap that around. And this tear and tape works excellent for wrapping these candies and having it stay, because sometimes when you're putting things around and you just use regular adhesive, it can come loose. All right, so now I'm going to put these into my little container, and I do like to put just a little bit of tear and tape on the bottom of the treat holder, and that kind of keeps that bottom one from sliding out, keeps it from moving. And you could stack, you could put tear and tape on the other ones also, but I think once you bring this up, you're going to kind of smash that together like that, and they'll stay put. It's the more of the bottom one that could slide out easily. And now we can take a piece of our black ribbon, which, let me see, I can't remember how big this was. I think it was about 12 inches. Yep, that's right. I can go ahead and put this through that little hole. And of course, I gotta bring my pokey tool back in here because this big ribbon is hard to get through a little hole. So see how that, if you don't have one of these, you need one, because it just makes things so much easier to work with. So we're going to just tie, and you could just tie a little knot and let it hang down. I'm going to tie a little bow up here. My little bunny ears. We're going to bring that through. Uh-oh. Okay, let go of my, gotta try that again, because my little bunny ear was a little bit little. Couldn't hold on to him. Bring this one through. And then we have this little, and I'm going to take my ribbon scissors, just trim those edges. And if I want, I can pull this and make it a little bit smaller. That's cute like that, I think. I'm going to cut that at an angle, more of an angle. Maybe. I better go this way. And then we'll snip that off a little bit more. All right. Now we'll add the last little items to our little treat holder. We could just do it like this, but it's always fun to do a little bit of decoration. So I'm going to add my little ghost, and I'm going to add this little boo to you sentiment. We'll just put dimensionals on both of those. I'm going to take the backings off, and we'll put this just kind of right up here. And then we'll take the backings off of our little ghost and have him come here. So he's on there, really cute. And if, when, maybe you have these, I hope you ordered them when they were available. But if you didn't, and you want them, make sure that you go on to the website and click on the image like you're going to order them, and a little box will come up that says, I want to be notified when these are back in stock, and they'll send you an email when they become available, and then that way you'll know and you won't miss out. I'm going to put just a couple of these little black dots up in the corner, and one down here, because I like odd numbers, and kind of create a little triangle. And that's all there is to it. It's just really cute and easy. Now, on my original one, I did take the Smoky Slate blend, and I don't know if you can see that. I went around and just did a little highlight, so if you want to add that, you could. I just kind of went around all the eyes and just the image. Or you could leave it plain like that. Both ways look okay. And then I just wanted to show you, this is some paper that is coming out in September 1st, our new catalog that goes from September to December debuts, and there's a lot of fun stuff in there. I've been working on samples. I can't wait to show you what we're doing. My friend Kira is here right now, and oh my gosh, I think we've made about 20 cards already, and I'm just so excited about them. Anyway, but just look at this. This is the same thing. I just did early espresso for my tag, and then I used some of our new sunflower paper, and this is Golden Glow ribbon. And I could just, so I wanted to show you, because this only has one piece of candy in there. So if you want to make them, you know, for a bunch of people, you don't have to fill it up. It still looks cute, you know, or you could put 2 or 3, but 4 is about the limit. And then you could, you know, decorate this up. I think I had, oopsie, my little dot is sticking to me instead of that. I think you could, you know, cut out a little sunflower and put a little stamp that says enjoy, something like that. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. So this is my little project for today. I don't know why this wants to stick to me. It's like I'm magnetic. My magnetic personality, yay. Kira's laughing. Okay, so that was my little project for today, and this week, remember, I featured lots of different cards that you could make with this set. This was my Fast Friday, where we just took 3 pieces of DSP and cut them. And again, just because this is a Halloween layout, you could do that with any DSP and make a quick, easy card. I also did a video on this little fun fold card, and this was my Tuesday tip where we cut the tree out of the layer, and then we used tear and tape to hold the ribbon down. So that was another one. This one I didn't do, but I showed this card as a sample the week before when I was coloring on the paper where I was adding the lines. And here's another sample done with that, and just using the tag and just some fun cards. So I will talk to you later, and I hope you're having a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.